Hello and welcome to another Replica Reviews video. Now today we're going to be doing a bit of a sort of a tech how-to video. As I'm sure you guessed from the title, we're going to do the field strip and then the reassembly of this, the Remington 1911 RAC. Now this is essentially just another rebranded KWC 1911. However, it's always interesting to know how to take these things apart. Anyway, if you want to check out the full review, we put a link in the description below. We've got a full tabletop review of this gun, which will hopefully help, you know, whether you want to go for this one or the Swiss Arms one or something that looks like a Umarex, etc, etc. So anyway, we'll crack on. Now the first thing to do, just make sure the magazine is out. Now obviously, as you can see, empty, there's no gas, no BBs, it's just an empty magazine. Moving on to the pistol, as you can see, Remington 1911 RAC. Just make sure it's nice and empty, as you can see there. Nothing inside, no gas, no extra magazine. It's about as empty as you could possibly want it to be. So we'll just do that because I know a few people on here are safety conscious and just like to see that. So anyway, the first thing you want to do is handily done whilst I was just showing you that it was empty, and you just want to cock it back. Now I do this because it just compresses the springs out of the way and it does make moving the slide back and forward just a little bit easier. And obviously the slide has to come back for you to be able to cock it in the first place. So if you cock it back first, it just makes life a lot easier. Now the first thing you want to do is obviously this little kind of catch here. Now that's what you need to push out first. So as you can see on the other side, what you want to be doing is pushing this little button when you've lined the slide up. So this is the button that you want to be pressing. Now when I say lining the slide up, as you can see, there's two indents here. Now the larger indent is for when you rack the gun completely back, and as you can see it just locks into place, with this second one being a bit further. Now to field strip the pistol, what you need to do is release it forward just so that lines up. Now as you can see, the little triangle section here lines up with the indent. Now pushing that little button that I showed you a second ago, push it out, and as you can see it starts to come away from the pistol, and then just pull that out, move it down to the side, try not to lose it. Now it's really easy to get the slide off from this point, just simply drive it forward. Now as you can see here, this is the first kind of major step, so just place that back down. As far as this section of the gun goes, you're not actually going to need to do anything with it at the moment. All of the rest of the field strip really is just in the slide. Now there's a couple of different orders that you can do this in, but the order that I always do it in is to push this round section here forward, just removing the spring. And as you can see, it brings the spring out along with its little follower. So just place that down there so we're not going to lose it. And it also brings out this little guide here. Now this guide is what you can see in the front of the barrel. As you can see, it disappears there. So what we're going to do is just push that through and move it out of the way. Now obviously as you're doing this in person, it'll be an awful lot easier. I'm trying to lean around a camera, so apologies if I'm blocking out any parts, but hopefully we're keeping it nice and easy for you to see. So we'll just move this spring down to the bottom so it's out of the way, and you can see it's a separate component part. Now this section here, the front, you just want to ring this round, and as you can see the spring that's on the actual main barrel just pushes it off. Hopefully as you can see there's a flat spot. Now if you line that flat spot up here inside the barrel, push it in, slot it back down, and it goes in absolutely perfectly. Now all that's left to do now is just to push out the main barrel section here, and as you can see that comes out really nice and easily. I'm doing that with one hand, and then you just bring it out, and as you can see this is all one unit, just a floating inner barrel hidden inside this metal outer, and then as you can see all comes apart like so. Now essentially at this point the gun is fully field stripped. You know, you can clean the barrel from here, you can get into this section here, as you can see, you can get into all the trigger assembly, etc, and just give it a nice good clean through. Whether you use a small really fine wire brush, some oil, some lubricant, whatever you want to use, just make sure, like with any maintenance video, you don't over lubricate it. I've been guilty of doing it myself in the past. It doesn't do the gun much good in the long run. If you're going to store it, maybe just give it a little bit more than usual, but just, you know, use it you know, sensibly. Now for the fun bit, the reassembly. Now from this point on, what we want to do is basically the whole section that I've just shown you, but in reverse. So you're going to take your slide like so. As you can see there's not really much going on in here, just the gas system here. And you just want to push the barrel in through the front like so. And then that will seat back in position nice and firmly at the back. Now what I tend to do at this point is just, as I said earlier, lining this flat spot with the bottom of this section, push it in, bring it around like that, and then you've basically got the whole barrel just locked in place. Now that's not going to fall out, it's not going to run away, and hopefully it will stay exactly where you want it to stay. Now the bit that a lot of people get confused with at this point is which one of these two goes in first. Now what I tend to do is put this guide in first. Again, it's got a flat spot, as you can see here, it's curved. That's curved just so that it's designed to sit on top of the spring. So you push that in and then just make sure all of the front is lined up so it can just slot into place like so. And as you can see, it all just sits quite nicely. Now this is the bit that is easier said than done on the screen, so it might go horrifically wrong, it might not. But you basically have to put this wobbly bit of the spring inside the hole here and then guide the follower forward so it sits in position like so. Now for anybody that couldn't really see what I was doing when I was leaning forward, you want to get this round section just on that pin like so. And that is basically the whole of the slide assembled and in one place. So last but not least, you want to reassemble the two halves together. Now as you can see, there are a rail that start just above the hole here, and obviously rails on the slide. So you need to line the rails up, pull it forward. Now at this point it can often feel like it's snagging, but hopefully, as you can see just in front of my thumb, there's just a little metal bar there. If you simply push that in, slide it back forward, backwards, sorry, and then it lines up absolutely perfectly. And then last but not least, just push your pin in like so, and then I usually just rack it back to make sure it's on properly. Release it forward, just cycle it through a couple of times, and hey presto, job done. Now hopefully that's given you some kind of insight in how this pistol field strip and assembles. If you've got any more questions, feel free to post them down below. I'm always happy to try and help where I can. Alternatively, go and check out our Facebook page as well. I'll put loads of detailed pictures up, and I might even do a field guide, sort of just an album with a step-by-step kind of walkthrough on how to reassemble these pistols, because they're getting ever so common on the market. I think there's about 9 different variants of this pistol. So we'll hopefully go and put a small kind of tutorial on our Facebook page as well. But again, I'll put a link in the description to that as well. So all that's really left to say is thank you for watching another video. If you've got any questions or anything, post them below. And feel free to give us a subscribe if you've seen, or if you like what you've seen. And if you're feeling really generous, just give us a quick thumbs up. Just lets me know whether I've done something right or wrong. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, and until our next video, like and subscribe.